Hi there, welcome to ILM Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Leo energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. Some people harness high vibe Leo energy, some are more worldly or shadowy Leo energy. We all have lessons to learn in life, and some people have freed themselves from more of the things that manipulate them than some other people. We're at different places in our life. Sometimes we might be more focused on getting maybe our career off the ground than we might be focused on love at the moment. And the truth sets us free. We just need to see the truth of where people are at in how they're harnessing their Leo energy, because we all kind of like to be in relationships with people who are kind of on the same page as us, have learned some of the same lessons or motivated and inspired. High vibe Leo, though, is about being authentic and open to giving and receiving love. You've offered yourself love to free yourself so you're not in your more fearful, defensive, immature, prideful, egotistical, bossy, controlling, petty, envious, jealous nature, And some people still have some lessons to learn in those areas. So, we're going to read it from those different perspectives. We all tap into Leo energy in these various ways, just like we tap into all the other different zodiac sign traits and characteristics. We all connect in with our water sign, our air sign, our pentacle side, our fiery side. And so it's just where we're at in life. So listen to your intuition about yourself and others, and we'll go from there. Okay, the overarching reason for the reading is the pleasure card. What do we enjoy? What motivates us? What inspires us? I kind of look at it like maybe like a Pisces moon card and an Eight of Wands Sagittarius card. What's our idea of what we think will make us happy? We're going to move forward in that way, and we'll probably go get new jobs, new friends, new relationships, move forward with the people we are in relationships with, so long as those people are willing to move forward with us to go to like the next phase of life, depending on how we want to move forward living life. So, what's going on in Leo energy? We have the unexpected, and the reason is because of patience and assessing. So, people would want to this kind of reminds me of like a birth canal and going into the forest, and the forest kind of can represent the people, all the different people out there in the world, and being patient and assessing, people want to be in relationships with people who are on the same page as them. Who seems to be on the same page as me? Shadowy people might be wondering who they can manipulate. Create an illusion about who they are and try to get someone to be in a relationship with them. But for the people who are more motivated and inspired by the things of the world, they probably want to be in a relationship with someone else who are driven and motivated by those things. And the people who are more motivated and inspired by hope and faith and belief in their dreams and love, they're looking for people who are on the same page as them. We're going to get clarifiers on that unexpected card, though, because that can be that, I think life force energy is trying to get people who are on the same page in relationships, because when we're in mismatched relationships, it's kind of like we're fighting against each other with competing interests, and we should be in relationships with people who are kind of on the same page as us. So I think unexpected things can happen to try to shake things up, to make people see the truth. This isn't the right job for me. This is not the right friendship group for me. This way of living my life is not my truth. And, we need to see that truth in that. So the unexpected card in that way can kind of be like a tower moment where it kind of makes us see how something in our life, or a job, people, friendship, relationship, or something, we're not on the same page. Then we have extremes, nourishment, and release. And the reason is because of sovereignty. I think we go out on these extremes in life like, oh my gosh, I love them. And our heart is kind of running our life and the rest of our life. In tarot, we have the four suits: the heart, the mind, the worldly nature, and the things of the world we concern ourselves with, and our emotionally intuitive, creative, inspired realm of the wands. And I think as human beings, a lot of us go out to the edge, letting in certain areas of our life because we have lessons to learn there. And, it's all about trying to get us to see how when we go to extremes, we might go to extremes because there might be something that we haven't learned to invest in within ourselves. And so we go look outside of ourselves to meet that need. That could be if I haven't learned to be more stable and grounded in myself, or maybe I haven't put work and effort into my own career field. I could go look for people who have more stability and security than me. And it's trying to get us to work through, and same way if I haven't really learned to love myself and enjoy life, I might look to get in relationships with other people to love me and help me look at life more optimistically. But really we're supposed to, I think, meant to be more self-sustaining within ourselves, so we're more independent within ourselves, stable, grounded, loved, balanced, all those things within ourselves, so that we can go get in relationships with other people who have learned to do that within ourselves. Because otherwise we could be getting in relationships and staying in certain jobs and friendships because we're kind of out of balance. And when we're, justice is represented by the scales of justice, that when we're balanced and we've learned how to meet these needs within ourselves, we're able to learn the lessons we were meant to learn from going out to the edge in these different experiences of life, to learn that we need to learn to be more grounded and stable within ourselves and get out of our ego and our fears and our insecurities and our self-learning beliefs, to be more free, to be more independent in the world, because high vibe energy is about learning these lessons, growing and healing and maturing ourselves. And sometimes we don't even know that we could kind of have things buried in our subconscious that we need to deal with, that could be a deep wound or something, a self-limiting belief. And by getting in certain relationships, we get in relationships with some people who are kind of on the same page as us in a lot of ways. And it could be unexpected that somewhere within that relationship that we're in, that it could provide an opportunity for both or a lot of the people involved to kind of do this work within themselves, because we like to get in jobs, friendships, and relationships because it provides us community and stability and security. And then we're able to do some of this inner work within ourselves. And then when we do work through some issues, it could be surprising to us and the people that we're in relationship with that we did do some of that work. Because again, we can get in relationships with some people, they were provided also with stability and security and community and support and love, but maybe they're people who always kind of are always unwilling to go outside their comfort zone. It's just like getting people, and you hire and you work with people at a job, and you'd like people maybe to learn their job, but then it's nice to have people in the workplace where they kind of know a lot of different things in the workplace. So that's why they try to sometimes advance other people. It's like, that's great. Now you can help that person learn that job. It's kind of like learning especially if you don't have a career, maybe a degree or something, but even if you have a degree, you kind of start out in the lower level echelon of that career field, or if you don't have a career, or a degree. But you start out in the entry-level positions, right? And then they want you to learn and get to know things and how things work. And then once you know that, then they kind of, now that you understand things, you can go to the next phase of the job and you can learn some more things, and then you can help train in someone else to learn that entry-level job, but now we have two people who will know how to do that job in case people are sick. And then, hopefully, I would think a lot of employers would want something like that. And the same thing can happen in relationships. We get in relationships, we're at the certain phase of life, entry level maybe, when we first start going out in the world and dating people, but then we want to move to a more, we learn life skills and lessons at that phase of life, and then we want to be in relationships with people who have also learned some of those same skills and lessons, where we're both on the same page and we can work together at that next level of life. But there's some people in the world that kind of want to do life the same, because that's quite kind of like shadowy energy, not in life-giving energy. The shadow energy is represented kind of by, in shadowy, it's the death card. Nope, I don't want to learn anything new here. Nope, I don't want to step out of my comfort zone. Nope, I don't want to give birth to anything new. And sometimes we get in relationships with people and that's how they view life. I don't want to learn anything new. I want to move forward just like this, always. Because they would have to work through some of their issues, their fears, their insecurities to kind of go to that next phase of life. And that's when we can realize that, the extreme card with that showing, it looks like someone by the bed and in the darkness. And, we can be attracted to people. So we could kind of look at the extreme card as like the devil card. And the devil is about when we have lessons to learn, we're going to open the door and have some people come into our life. And we can't control who comes in the door. Say I haven't learned to love myself. Say I just have some fears and insecurities about being more confident. Well, there is no limit to the door to shadow. When the door opens, there's all sorts of people that can be in shadowy energy that would like to be in relationship with you or hire you or work for you. But we have to learn lessons. Do I think we're kind of on the same page? Do I think we can both move forward together and put work and effort into this? Or are some people like, no, you're too far out on the edge for me, or, you're immature, or you're bossy, or you're controlling or something. And nope, I don't think you're the right person for me to move forward with. So I'm going to release some of those people, and I'm going to claim my independence in the sovereignty card from some of the people who might come my way. But there might be other people that, if we kind of align with our more worldly nature, we can all be tempted by these things of the world. Even though our intuition was like, no, I think we should leave. I don't think you should do that. I think you should let them go. I think you should be independent of them. We have lessons to learn as human beings, And in our worldly nature, it's like, yeah, but I want that. And I want to go indulge in that. And so then we do. And, we have lessons to learn about listening to our intuition. Because we have a lot of lessons to learn in our worldly nature. The sovereignty card kind of reminds me of a Nine of Pentacles card, in our Virgo energy. We have these lessons to learn, and we have these things that we're drawn and attracted to that, and until we learn to listen more to our intuition, we're probably going to go out on the edge in some ways of our life. And then it can be really hard to release ourselves from it, because of the big picture, shadowy energy is represented by the devil. And it's those things that kind of get a hold on us. And, and then why? We have to figure out, why does it have such a hold on me that it's hard for me to detach from it? Well, we can all be tempted in our worldly nature, in our pride, in our ego, in our lust, in our greed, in our codependency, just for when we get a job, a friend, or in a romantic relationship, we'd really like that to work out. And we can keep putting all this work and effort to make it grow in the nourishment card. Well, how long are we going to keep putting work and effort into making something grow when one person might have done some work within themselves to be more stable and grounded and nurturing and loving, and the other person is maybe bossy or controlling or selfish or something, abusive or manipulative, and then we find ourselves in a mismatched relationship. I did learn how to love and believe in myself or temper some of my fears and my insecurities and my more immature, shadowy nature. And I've come to find out that you haven't done that. And it could be people just who are defensive to love, but they're single, you're single, they want to move forward in a relationship with you, but they might want the one person to be like the loving, nurturing, giving person, and maybe they are more about the world or their defensive nature, or maybe they've got kind of more the things of the world that provide stability and security in a relationship, and maybe one person is loving and nurturing. Well, that can work out if both people respect what each person brings to the table. The Nine of Pentacles and like the Knight of Pentacles talks about that we have our own unique talent, skills, and interests, and things that we bring to the table, resources, talent, skills, and interest. But you know how in our worldly nature, some people can really think that what they bring to the table is more important than what you bring to the table. If what you bring is all the things that provide love and stability, in the sense of love, stable, grounded, emotionally nurturing, and we have this nature within ourselves, this dualistic nature within ourselves. And if both people aren't kind of balanced and just appreciating the fact that I might have more of some of these things of the world, like power, influence, or money, or things like that, but this other person has love and nurturing. And if we both respect that they're individuals and that the person with maybe the things of the world, the scales of justice aren't to be tipped in their favor, we respect what each person brings to the table. Well, in those situations, some people could move forward together so long as they maintain this balance within themselves. But if they're not aligned with building this foundation on truth and love, sometimes it is a more mismatched relationship. I am more about the world or me or ego or image or money or materialism. I want to be in a relationship with someone who's loving and nurturing and whatever, but if you ever want me to grow or mature, or heal, to move forward with you, maybe with you being more, where it's more just and fair, I might let you go because I am aligned in my Virgo energy and my Leo energy, more motivated, and kind of value me and what I bring to the table, kind of in a way where I think I can use that to get other people to be in a relationship with me. And I don't think I need to take action. The masculine energy can represent taking action. It can also represent us being in our ego. I don't think I need to do things any different. I have this way of viewing life and relationships. All sorts of people in the world can be attractive. They can be charming. They can have social clout. They can have stability. They can have security. They can, all these different things. High vibe people have learned lessons in life, and those things that they have about them might be beneficial. People can be attracted to wanting to be in a relationship with them because of those reasons. But that isn't what really drives and motivates them in the core of their foundation and their philosophy of life. They want loving, creative, inspired relationships with people who want to grow to their full potential, to keep healing and growing and maturing themselves. But some of the other people who might have some of those traits, characteristics, and assets in the world, because they're aligned with more of their worldly view of life, and that might be how they define their worth and value and what makes them someone that people should want to be in a relationship with, why people should be attracted to them, and they could use those traits, qualities, characteristics, or assets. And in their philosophy of life, they think people should want to be in relationship with them because of those reasons. And then they could think that people should kind of indulge them a little bit more. The scales should be tipped in their favor in a relationship for those reasons. So they're not really, in their Virgo energy and Leo energy, they're not kind of inspired to align with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. It's more about, I'm more inspired maybe by me and my ego and the world. And I think people, because I think what I bring to the table, I chose within myself that my more loving, creative, inspired nature is less important. And they could be going out on the edge to learn some valuable lessons. They might not see it coming up, but if, life's about our philosophy of life, and we have this dualistic nature. And Virgo energy and Virgo energy is about what my truth is, and depending on what our truth is, which foundation within our dualistic nature is the one that is our truth. We have to choose in life. We have to make choices. We live in a world of duality with free will. Some people, their truth is, my more hopeful, believing, loving nature is what guides the decisions in my life. High vibe Leo, I'm inspired by truth and love, and yes, we all put in work and effort to have stability and security in the world and enjoy some of the finer things in life. But some people think those things come and all those things are worthwhile if I'm in loving, creative, inspired relationships and careers and within myself. Love is what makes it all worthwhile. And some people still have some lessons to learn about that. And they're sure, no, I think it's more about me, or I think it's more about these things of the world that I want to indulge in, or I'm sure if I just have enough money, status, power, influence, or something, I'm sure that will make me happy. Why don't they want to do love? Well, you get hurt doing love. You'd have to get out of your more egoic, defensive nature and be inspired to get out of the illusion of your defensiveness or your ego or all those things that you think will make you happy, to be willing to look at life differently. And some people aren't willing to do that. Nope. I am inspired in shadowy Leo by my ego or my defensive nature. It has to be more about me, or people are supposed to indulge me. And even people who don't have some of these particular things that people can find appealing in the world. Some people are just immature, egotistical, self-centered, and narcissistic, And no matter what, they think the world revolves around them. They make life all about them, and they think other people should make life all about them. And sometimes we find ourselves kind of in these mismatched relationships. And the people who do the inner work to love and believe in themselves, I can be in relationships with people who, in a world of duality, devil representing shadow, God representing high vibe energy, I can be in relationships who are making my life a little bit of hell. They act shadowy. I can hang out with them if I want. I got free will. Or I can go hang out with people who create a little heaven on earth. But we probably go out to the edge and we have to learn these lessons. Do I love and believe in myself? Am I willing to invest in loving myself to free myself from the things that manipulate me that could tempt me to stay in certain types of relationships anyway, or jobs or friendships? if I have someone who's acting kind of shadowy, being a little manipulative, being a little bossy, being a little controlling, maybe trying to get me to indulge in my more immature nature, codependent nature, fearful nature, lustful, prideful nature, is that really how I want to live my life? You know, and we can all go through that like, oh yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, this is great. I am living the dream. This is totally how I want to live my life. But then as we keep kind of moving forward in life like that, you know, we could just see other people that maybe aren't being manipulated by those things, and they're moving forward in life. They're kind of like growing to their full potential. They went through a phase of life too, and they indulged in whatever it was, and then they're like, you know, I'm kind of being shadowy. Eight of Wands is like being an immature player, you know, and I'm not growing to my full potential. And some people are like, you know, that was a certain phase of my life. People learn these lessons, and some people are like, I'm starting to be inspired to live my life differently and look at life differently and face my fears of moving forward in life differently instead of making this my life or my habits or how I view life. I'm ready to go have this new beginning. And some of the people in their life, that could be a shock. Like, what? Like our own shadow nature. If we were in our more shadowy nature, it's kind of like our more loving nature is waiting, being patient, waiting for us to kind of get tired of us indulging our more shadowy nature. It's like, oh my gosh, are we ever, you know, because we have this dualistic nature, our either more immature worldly natures in the driver's seat of our life and our loving natures in the back seat. Really, we could go do this, we could do this, don't you want to go do this? And, you know, our more immature shadow nature tells our loving nature to shut up in the back seat, you know? Or our more loving nature is in the front seat, and we have our more immature nature in the back seat, and it's yapping, and we are like a good parent to ourselves. And we tell ourselves to calm down. It's okay. You know, we are going to get to our destination. We're just going to go about it now in a way that we can be proud of. And we've learned some valuable lessons in life that when we maybe take action more out of our pride and our ego and fear and our insecurity, it might initially, because the devil is about like short-term gratification, but it doesn't last because the devil lies. And we've already kind of been there and done that. And if we want high vibe Virgo, high vibe Leo to really invest in a way of being that's going to be more authentic and inspiring and hopeful and believing and loving and long lasting, you know, we're meant to see the truth that love is the answer. And we detach from our more worldly egoic nature and letting it be in the driver's seat of our life. And we put in this work and effort to love and believe in ourselves, to detach from our more worldly egoic nature, so that when we go take action in the world, we're inspired by truth and hope and faith and belief and love. And that's how we can have new beginnings, and we don't keep repeating the old pattern over and over and over again. We have to like be a good leader in our own life to temper our more immature nature. And the people who do that, because high vibe Leo is about tempering. I don't have, well, usually in the strength card, we have the lion, and then we have a feminine figure, which can talk about how we think and feel. We emotionally temper our more worldly, beastly nature. Our ego nature, our fearful nature, our codependent nature. our self-indulgent nature. I just want to feel better. It's like, yeah, but if we don't keep taking action, being patient, maintaining balance within ourselves, looking at life from a higher perspective, we've already lived some life. We know how things have worked out, believing that the divine has a plan for our life. Life is about learning lessons. And if we're tired of learning some of the same lessons that we've learned before, well, then I need to get balanced within myself, be patient, stay focused on what I want to give birth to, keep my eye on, maybe staying away from people. I don't want to be in a mismatched relationship anymore. We all put in some work and effort to have stability and security and enjoy the finer things in life. I don't need it all. I want to be in relationships with people who are kind of balanced within themselves. Between their loving nature and their worldly nature, they've learned these lessons in life, and they're ready to move forward, kind of being a good leader in their own life, inspired more by truth and love and hope than, oh, I want to go indulge my ego, and you should let me manipulate you, and I want to control you, and you should make your life about this and these things. It's like, no, I want to go do something different where I haven't been there before. And I'm not going to repeat those old patterns, so I am going to take action to move forward. The Eight of Wands is about moving forward. And I'm going to let my heart and my intuition guide me instead of my more worldly egoic nature. And for some of the people in our life where we maybe used to be in a relationship with them or hang out with them, they could be surprised in the unexpected that we're moving forward in a way that's new, that we've healed, we've grown, we've matured, we've looked at life from a higher perspective. We have hope and faith and belief in our dreams. We're ready to step outside our comfort zone because they maybe never are. And so they could have thought that you would give up on loving and believing in yourself to move forward in that new way. And it could have required, with kind of looking at the extremes card as the devil, it's hard, right? If we decide we don't like a job, we don't like a friend or a relationship or some people in our life, we have to face our fears. Can I nurture and love myself to keep having hope and faith and belief in myself, even though I might go through a period of feeling left out in the cold? I'm not doing that anymore. And again, it could be, we can get in relationships with people and one person's like, oh, we're going to give birth to this dream. And the other person's like, no, we're going to just keep doing this. And it's like, so we're never going to give birth to the dream? No, because I am just kind of indulging myself in this relationship. It's good for my ego. It's good for my image. I get to indulge in a relationship with a loving, nurturing person. Oh, but I'm never going to become a loving, nurturing person myself. I might present myself as loving. I might, but it has to be authentically what you're motivated and inspired by. And that's when we can realize we kind of got in a mismatched relationship. Some people already realize this. They've already are doing this work within themselves to move forward, to give birth to something new. Because we can distance ourselves from people, but we're these emotionally complex people, and it takes us time to heal and learn to give ourselves the things that we wish other people would have given us, and to keep having hope and faith and belief in ourselves. If it did mean we had to go back to school, go get a different job, move, whatever, all those things, we learn to do that. And that could have been part of the reason why we were drawn and attracted to certain people. We both could have viewed life a certain way. We both could have had certain fears and insecurities. But we realized in that relationship that I have some fears and insecurities to deal with in myself. I'm going to deal with those things. Then I think the loving people offer love and encouragement to the people they're in relationship with to move forward with them in this new way, which can just be, I don't act a certain way in a relationship with because I worked through some past pain and heartbreak that could have triggered me before to act in a certain way. Well, now I don't act that way anymore. And when one person in a dynamic changes, it kind of changes the whole dynamic. And then sometimes that's when you can see someone's like shadowy nature come out because you've changed. You did do some of this inner work to heal and grow and look at life from a higher perspective and change your perspective about yourself and the world, or started to invest in your own unique talent, skills, and interests that you maybe before didn't even know you had an interest in, And then maybe with that new unique talent, skill, or interest that you have, you might want, it could motivate you and inspire you to start moving forward in life differently. Say, even if it's gardening and flowers, you could decide, I want to start a business selling flowers, and people are like, wait a minute, you're different. You weren't doing stuff like that before. It's like, well, yeah, but I didn't even know that I was interested, And then as I just in the phase of going through life, I kind of found out that I might have some unique talent, skills, or interests that really kind of motivate me and inspire me to take action in my life in a way that I wasn't taking action in my life before. And it does kind of change the whole dynamic. You're not the person that you were before in some degree. And some people don't like that because you are kind of moving forward in life differently. And if they had expected to get in a relationship with someone and they don't plan to ever live their life any differently, and they had their idea of how they expected a relationship to go and what type of person you were going to be and that you were going to stay that way forever, whatever way you were when you got in it, well, then they cannot like that because it kind of does require them to work with, why does it bother me? Why don't I want that person to kind of do these things that love and inspire them? And sometimes it's because they wanted it to be them that loved and inspired you. And it was, and that's when they can have to deal with the fact that, instead of you being your own individual, we're two individuals who are independent, get in a relationship, and they have that overlap area where they work on this common goal, but you each have your own individual things that motivate and inspire you and your own dreams. Sometimes that's not how people imagined life. It's like, no, I was single, you were single. We're supposed to get in a relationship and you make your life my life in a way. You're not supposed to have your own dreams or aspirations or, within certain limits. But for you to be kind of wanting to go on maybe a new adventure in some way, I don't like that. And they got the free will to look at life that way, but they might become kind of controlling, and because that also is shadowy energy where eventually you can see the truth that what motivates and inspires you. Some people don't want to step out of their comfort zone. They could have their own healing, growing, and maturing to do that they don't want to do. They could try to make you stay. They also, sometimes people are wearing a false mask and they do have these fears or there's insecurities or these things that tempt them, but they could try to present themselves in the world as harnessing high vibe Leo and Virgo energy, but really that's not the truth. They really harness more shadowy, worldly Leo, Virgo energy and what they are motivated and inspired by and what they might like to indulge in if given the opportunity, And that's sometimes when the devil can come into people's lives, because God knows if people are in mismatched relationships. And sometimes the loving people in the relationship could have known some things, but we kind of don't want to see the truth of it. We kind of, in our ego, no, God, I'm sure I can change this person. No, I'm going to keep loving and encouraging them. I'm sure they're going to choose love one day and get out of the illusion or the fear or the bossy or the controlling or the immature or whatever. But then that's when something unexpected can happen, because if people aren't someone who's open to being in deep, meaningful relationships based on love, and it is more about, it works for me, it's good for my ego, it's good for my image, I want to be in a relationship, but that's really not the foundation they're operating from, but other people are operating in hope and faith and belief and love. Something unexpected could happen, and we can all be tempted in the world by different things, right? And it's really for God, and God could use all sorts of people in our life. Friends, family, potential people we could have a fling with or whatever, to tempt people, and is trying to get them to choose make a decision. What is your path? Once and for all, we have to make a decision. And some people kind of gave in to temptation, and they were willing to release the people that were in their life that were more about creativity, inspiration, love, believing in your dreams, to move forward instead, maybe with people who they thought are on more of the same page as them, or where they could kind of be indulged in some way, or they could go pursue the things that really motivate and inspire them in the world that maybe isn't love. I don't like how I have to be more stable and grounded and mature. I want to be immature, and I want to go get in a relationship with someone where I can be more immature. We can kind of only do the facade for so long for people who were not being authentic. And sometimes, if we really had been on the same page and we really were both motivated by the same things, we would be aligned with the bigger goal, and we'd both be willing to do this work within ourselves. And some people could have thought, oh no, I'm sure when that time comes and everything, I'll do that. And then it got to be where they really had to decide, am I willing to get out of it being maybe more about me or the ego or the image, or, am I willing to go to that next phase where I would have to kind of maybe be more bold and brave and more authentically myself, get out of my maybe self-protective or defensive nature, get out of my ego nature of thinking it should be a little bit more about me. And they weren't willing to do it, some of them. The people in your life who are willing to move forward with you in that way are the people who keep moving forward with you. And with some of those people, you're going to have some new beginnings and opportunities that could have been unexpected. In that case, the devil can mean a job or a relationship, and new people that also challenge you to deal with, where sometimes we can get in a mismatched relationship where we know someone. So it's kind of like us seeming like we're the teacher and they're the student in a way where, oh, well, I know they're kind of immature. Well, I know they have this addiction, or I know they have this, or I know they're like that. When we get in a relationship with someone who's really on the same page as us, it challenges us. It's going to bring up issues within us, which can be, I don't think people think of it that way, but that's where it can kind of be us operating from ego when we do get in relationships with people who we know from the get-go really aren't on the same page. Like, they don't maybe have hope and faith and love. They could be defensive. They are kind of immature and impulsive. I don't like how they do this or that too much, but I think I can change them. Well, part of that can just be because in our human nature, we want to be in a relationship. So we get in relationships with people who aren't quite on the same page as us. But high vibe people
would like the people in their life, at least they think, to change. But how many of you has that ever worked out to really get someone to heal and grow and mature themselves and detach from some old habits and patterns? I know I never had any luck with it, but if they really did, then it is like a new relationship because they're not who they were before. Generally, we're kind of on the same page. We're kind of all moving together, and it's slow, subtle changes, and we just kind of heal and grow and mature with each other. But when we get in the extremes card with people who we know are quite different from how we view life, part of it can kind of be in our ego because we weren't being bold and brave enough to be patient, trust and believe in ourselves, and kind of wait for the people who were more on the same page as us. Some people did get themselves in a relationship that was kind of a mismatched relationship because they wanted to be in a relationship, and some of the people they were around weren't the right people. And then it could have been unexpected that someone who does seem to be on the same page as them has released themselves from something, and they're looking for a job, looking for a friend, looking for a relationship. And then we get ourselves in a conundrum, right? We're in a relationship that maybe we could have had some hope and faith and belief that people would change, but then maybe when we're in it and they never did change, but now are we willing to take action to kind of speak our truth? That maybe this relationship was never on the same page to begin with. But we can kind of be in our ego about that because, how will people view us? High Vibe Virgo is about speaking the truth. And we can all get in situations and hope that they are going to work out, even though there could be some significant differences. If we've been offering people love and encouragement and they're not, at what point are we willing to deal with the truth? High Vibe Virgo is about dealing with the truth. I keep trying to inspire people to make good decisions in this relationship, to move forward in life, detaching from some old ways of being that we should let go of, to move forward differently, even if it's in a more authentic nature, a more loving nature, and they're not willing to do it. Some of those people might release from some of those people. Some of those people won't because they're kind of in their ego about it. Or, it does have the stability or the security, or they have someone who they think might never leave. So I think this person could be in codependent energy, and they're very codependent on me. And for some people, they like a relationship like that. When some of you could have gotten out of some of these situations, then you were kind of inspired to have this new beginning. You were being patient, looking to see who are the people in my life, in my world, that I know who I think might be on the same page as me. You could have Virgo energy being Pentacle energy, about bringing something in the 3D. The wands can be about communication. You could have spoken your truth to someone. I kind of got myself in some life situations where I had some lessons to learn. I have learned some lessons in life. I have released myself. I don't want to live my life like that anymore. I gave up some of my habits, my vices, my old ways of viewing life. Are you someone who's on the same page as me? And that could have been unexpected to those people. They could be attracted to you. But how are they living their life? What kind of people are they invested in or aligning with in their life? Do they love and believe in themselves to step out of their comfort zone, to speak their truth, stand in their truth, get out of their ego, get out of their old ways of maybe viewing life or relationships, to go on this journey with you? We can only work with the people in the world who put work and effort and take action and communicate with us that they are willing to move forward with us in this way. And if back here we pretty much have all feminine figures where, well, that looks like a man. But if people aren't taking the action to work with us, to move forward with us in that way, there comes a point in time we can be patient, we can be giving people time to think about what they think, or even just still getting to know people that you might know or that you might work with. And then when you communicate your truth, you can find out somebody's in a relationship, you didn't know it. Or even if they're not in a relationship, they still have to do this work within themselves. If you have told them the truth and they kind of know what kind of person you are, oh, so it won't be just kind of being immature, taking action out of ego and lust and greed. No, this is something new. Oh, let me do this work within myself to decide if I'm ready for that too, or whatever. And the people who do communicate with us and take action. And there comes a point in time we listen to our intuition that there's certain people that aren't. Okay, well then I release myself from you. And I'm going to take action because I'm trying to manifest something into reality. And if it's not you, it doesn't have to be you. We're looking for people who have certain traits, qualities, characteristics, and ways of viewing life. And apparently, if they're not taking action to communicate with us, we can either assume that they're already moving forward with people that are on the same page as them, or they're not interested in moving forward in that way, and they're maybe not on the same page. So when our intuition tells us it's time for us to take action to bring our dream into reality, and I think every day just going out in the world and living your life, and but we have to be open to that new beginning. Like, okay, well that apparently isn't coming into reality, so I need to move on with the things that and the people that I think are on the same page as me. And if it's a romantic relationship and those type of people aren't in my life or taking action to communicate with me, then I'm going to go invest in my new beginning. If it's with my job, with my career, new things that I do in my life, new places that I go, new people that I hang out with, to find the people who are on the same page as me. So, I wanted to, let's look at the unexpected card. Ooh, okay. It almost wanted to fall off the table, but the Emperor. So, which is kind of like making good decisions in your life and learning lessons in life. The Emperor energy can talk about how we take action in the world, whether we're male or female. The high vibe people have learned these different lessons in life. The Emperor is about harnessing all four of the kings. I've went out to the edge, letting my heart run my life. I've went out to the edge, letting my mind or my fear or my defensiveness run my life. I've, all the different ways. And I've learned all these lessons. And I've learned in high vibe, it's people who are now unified by love. I have hope and faith and belief in love. I've looked at life from a higher perspective. I've learned to give myself the things that I wish other people would have given me. I respect all these different aspects about myself. I can no longer let my heart run my life off into the ditch because the other three aspects of my life kind of go in the toilet some. They're all important. When I did just one or two or three running my life, there's other parts of my life that got neglected. And they're all important to my kingdom of self. I have to maintain balance within myself. And they're making good decisions in their life. Why? Because of the Three of Pentacles. they decided to be inspired, because I view the Emperor as Aries energy, fire energy. I needed to be a good leader of my kingdom of self. And I also decided to maybe the fire element was the last element to be brought in. You know, we can all take action from our heart. We can all take action from our mind. We can all be all these things about the world. But our more fiery, creative, inspired, intuitive, hopeful, believing nature can maybe be the last one that we bring on board. And we're finally willing, have learned lessons in that. And that could be unexpected to people. I didn't think you would kind of do this work within yourself to kind of stand in your own power and feel, maybe more balance between your worldly nature and your intuitive, creative nature, kind of like your masculine and feminine. And kind of like, I'm not going to indulge myself in my poor behavior anymore, and I'm not going to indulge other people in their poor behavior. Love is supposed to be just and fair and balanced, and I maybe didn't realize that before. Or I had the concept, but I didn't put it into practice. Well, now I'm putting it into practice. Where the other people we could have been in a relationship kind of harness that energy in a more shadowy way. Shadowy Aries, Capricorn, and Leo. Well, we should make our life about these things of the world and these things that we're motivated and inspired by. Maybe indulging our more shadowy Aries is about the self. We should indulge ourselves in these things of the world. These will make us happy. And we at one time thought those things made us happy too. But then as we, it made us tap into our more creative, inspired nature that I think there's more to the world than just these things of the world that we have made so important in our life. And it's kind of like seeing through the illusion. There's more to life than just these things that we kind of get indoctrinated into the world to think that are the end-all be-all. That'll make us happy. It's like, what about my creative, inspired, intuitive, loving, that spark of life within me that makes it all about more than just those things, And those people release this old way of viewing life to live, high vibe Leo, shining your light in the world. Being free of the things that used to manipulate you. Choosing to be in life-giving energy every day. I choose to offer myself love and compassion, forgiveness and encouragement, and I offer it to other people. But I'm moving forward in this way, being authentically myself, not letting these things of the world and my ego and my fear manipulate me. And I want to be in a relationship with other people who are willing to step out of the illusion with me, to be authentically themselves, to step into the sunlight. The sun represented by Leo energy and tarot. To be authentically themselves. Let love and intuition guide us and how we choose to interact with each other versus, well, no, I'm supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that. And then I'm supposed to act this way and you're supposed to act that way. It's like this whole rule book of the world of how we're supposed to interact with each other. It's like, how about we just be authentic and loving and encouraging of each other and we help each other? That's different. So what's coming up for the people? And you could have found out with the other people maybe harnessing this in a more shadowy way. They were more motivated by those things of the world or themselves. And that's what motivates and inspires them. And we realized, you know what? I guess I used to be motivated and inspired by these things of the world too, but not as much. I want more balance. And some people are still more like, no, this is the most important thing, or I am the most important thing. It's like, okay, you go indulge in those things or find someone to make you the most important thing. I want a more balanced relationship and balanced workplaces and balanced friendships. So what's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Leo energy that they might not see coming up? Has to do with this card. And the reason is because of the Page of Cups. When we get to the place where we have worked through reconciling all these issues within ourselves, we're able to offer peace to the past. All of the different people we encountered, we saw how they view life. We saw how they choose to be and live their life. There are certain traits, qualities, and characteristics. And we accept that everybody's where they're at. Everybody's learned different lessons. The people who are more loving and giving were more loving and giving. The people who are more bossy or controlling or manipulative or self-centered, that's how they were. And I've just seen the truth about people make their own free will choices. I can only do what I can do. I had my own growing and healing and maturing to do. And I just wish people peace. Everybody's out where they're at. I'm not going to take it personally. I've learned to give myself the things that I wish other people would have given me. I might have went out to some extreme edges when I hadn't learned to love and believe in myself. And there could have been people I was in relationships with that I could have felt were trying to manipulate or control me, who didn't want me to be more balanced or independent or love and believe in myself. Or that's just the way they kind of are, and that's how they view life, and they want me to go along with it. And it's like, I don't view life that way. So I think what this card not showing itself means is people might not understand how you're doing this. And it's because you quit aligning with this energy in a more shadowy way, and what they don't understand, and you then were willing to cut out. When you quit aligning with harnessing an energy in a more shadowy way, you also end up eventually letting go of the people who keep aligning with that energy in a more shadowy way. And you're harnessing it in a more high vibrational way. And that's what people don't know about you. Six of Cups in reverse. Well, Six of Cups, sixes can talk about being balanced within yourself. You had lessons to learn in life. You were out of balance in some way. And the Six of Cups can be we're repeating a pattern of the past. And we're drawn and attracted to certain people because we have lessons to learn about them. Maybe if we didn't realize we had some past pain and heartbreak or some self-limiting beliefs that we needed to heal from, we could have gotten in relationships with people who subconsciously remind us of people from our past, but we don't kind of realize it till we have the, oh my gosh, you remind me of some people I've known in my life. I did not think you were that type of person, or maybe you were, and I just wasn't seeing the connection, and that I was repeating a pattern of the past. The Six of Cups, especially in reverse, can be extremes. You know, like, oh my gosh, I totally did not see that I was repeating a pattern of the past. You remind me of so-and-so. And it could have even been looking to someone who you viewed as a loving person in your life, or someone you wanted to be loving to you. And subconsciously, this person could have reminded you of that person. And it kind of really, especially if some of those people aren't shadowy. Six of Cups can be people who are more emotionally shallow, superficial, that you really can't have a deep, meaningful relationship with. And it kind of really, you could have been resisting for a long time of seeing the truth, but it took you out to the edge to realize I have to learn to love myself, and I didn't even know I could have had that wound, or I needed to heal for myself to become independent of the past. I don't want to be someone who's trying to convince other people to love me or validate my worth and value. I need to love me and validate my worth and value, or I'm going to keep repeating these patterns. And in the Six of Cups reverse, you don't want to repeat some of those old patterns anymore. You worked through it. You saw the truth of it. You healed from it. You healed that wound. And some of the people that were in relationship with, they're still in that pattern from one perspective or another. And they haven't seen the truth of it, some of them. And they're probably going to go out on some extremes about learning to love and believe in themselves and know their worth and value. And while they're doing that, they're going to probably have some people that are happy they live their life that way. And they're going to be drawn and attracted to people to go have these new beginnings with, to try to get them to see the truth of where they need to heal and grow and mature themselves. And if they ever do that, then they might be inspired to free themselves from some of the things that manipulate them and heal and step out into the light in high vibe Leo energy. More bold, more confident, more authentically themselves, more balanced. But until they do, they have these things that got a hold on them, and people they're drawn and attracted to because they have their own lessons to learn. And that's when you wish them peace. Been there, done that. Hope you make it out. But I saw that you were trying to repeat some pattern with me, and I don't want to repeat that pattern. I've already been there and done that. So I'm going to let go of you, even though I could have been attracted to you, and I wanted a dream to come into reality. I know my worth and value enough to stand up for what I believe in, and we're apparently motivated and inspired by moving forward in life differently and by different things. And I'm going to go have this new beginning. And the Six of Cups can reference people from your past that, realizing that, maybe all the people that you dated before, maybe some of them when you got out of one relationship, you thought, maybe that other person who maybe I didn't get in a relationship or I got out of a relationship with, maybe they're more on the same page as me. Well, maybe some of those people wish you peace and they've already moved on and they were that kind of person. But we had lessons to learn and we didn't move forward with them when we had the opportunity. We just got to deal with the truth of all of it. Some people have moved on in life ahead of me and they were the more emotionally mature people, and I had some lessons to learn. Okay, I accept the truth of it. And then maybe I learned everything I needed to learn from them, and that was the reason why they came in my life. And now is to take those lessons that I've learned to recognize the more shadowy or manipulative or prideful or egotistical or immature from the more emotionally mature and stable and grounded and loving. And I believe God has a plan for my life, and I'm going to keep moving forward. Wow. Okay, so unexpected, like the tower moment. And that could be a tower moment. And there's some people in your life that weren't taking action towards you because they, that's the thing, we don't know when some people don't take action towards us. And we could have thought we were on the same page. And they're like, well, really, I kind of like doing this. And I kind of like people to give up their dreams and do the relationship the way I like. And if I felt like I didn't communicate with you, I thought you would come back and then the scales would kind of be tipped in my favor and we could kind of repeat this old pattern, a different pattern maybe with them, but kind of the same pattern. And you're like, no, I wish you peace. You do you. If I already spoke my truth and communicated my truth, if you don't communicate that you're on the same page, then I wish you peace and I'm going to go. And that could be a shock to some of those people too, that some of these people in your past that I already communicated my truth to you of how I want to move forward. Are you on the same page or not? And then some of those people is like, nope, I bet I'm going to keep an eye on them. I bet they won't keep loving and believing in themselves. I bet they'll kind of align with their more immature nature, wanting to indulge in a relationship with me, and we can do this instead. And you said, no, I'm going through this door with or without you. And that could be unexpected to them. And, the people who are motivated and inspired by the same things we are would communicate with that. And if they're not, they're not. And when we work through it, and we wish them peace, and okay. And yeah, so the Six of Cups in reverse, you don't want emotionally shallow, superficial, the same dynamic of relationship. if people aren't willing to be more authentic in high vibe Leo energy, become more independent of their egoic nature, or where they think they're supposed to be kind of indulged in a relationship, or be able to be kind of immature in a relationship, I wish you peace. I hope it works out for you, but I'm moving on. With the people in my life that are willing to do that work within themselves, whether that is my adult children, my parents, my friends, my coworkers, those are the people I'm moving forward with. I'm going to keep investing my time, energy, and effort into. And I'm not going to keep investing time, energy, and effort into some of these other people who apparently weren't willing and inspired to want to work together with me cooperatively to see about going through that door together. And some people will. So what's coming up for the people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Leo energy that they might not see coming up? The Truth and the Tower. They did not see that coming. Some of the people who thought, oh, no, 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 I can act like this, I can be stubborn, I can keep investing in my shadowy ways of being or my egoic ways of being. I know they love me, or I know they're attracted to me, or I know I can manipulate and control them. They didn't expect some of the people in their life to see the truth, and that those people are detaching from them. They do not see this to be a safe, stable, long-term foundation. Why? Because of the Ten of Pentacles and Virgo energy. What we're driven and motivated by, and what we invest our time, energy, effort into, and maybe the way we view life is different. Your truth is, the shadowy, more worldly focused people, your truth is you do align with your more worldly egoic nature. You're not building a foundation on truth and love and authenticity, and you're unwilling to detach from that foundation. But I'm willing to detach from you, even though it might have had all these things of the world that in my worldly egoic nature I want, but I can't stay in a foundation with people who aren't letting like their more hopeful, believing inner child, authentic nature out to play in the world. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's living life from their defensive egoic nature. Where I'm in a relationship with like their false person, their defensive person, their manipulative person. Someone else, and that's what's another thing some of these shadowy people don't see coming. For some of you, you're already detached from these people. This is like, could be just like emotionally, once and for all, they realize that you have no interest in being in a relationship with them anymore. For other people, you could have communicated with other people, and they're seeing, oh shit, they could have been shocked that you let go of a different relationship. Then they did this work within themselves, and then maybe they weren't sure what they wanted to do, and now you've released them too, and they're like, oh shit. You know, I thought you'd be in your ego about me or something. It's like, no, I'm not going to be in my ego about people who aren't inspired by the same things I am. You go live your life the way you want and who you want. But if you're making your life more about not truth and love and more about ego and image or money and materialism, I don't think it's going to turn out the way you think it's going to turn out. And that's another thing they might not see coming. You know, we're either in relationships based on love, or we're in relationships with people where their truth is they're not operating from love and they don't want other people to love and believe in themselves. And that's what some of these shadowy people, if they get in a new relationship, if it's another loving relationship, the same scenario is going to play out. But they could get in a relationship with someone who's like themselves. You know, God's trying to get us to see the truth. If we get in relationships with people who are loving and nurturing and supportive, and we're like, oh no, I haven't learned to love and believe in myself, or I love these type of people to encourage them, but I don't really accept love myself. Okay, yeah, go get in that. It's probably not going to turn out the way you want, because you have some lessons to learn about loving and believing in yourself. And the people who think it can be all about me or it's all about ego or image, they could have other people that want to be in a relationship with them because they're all about ego and image too. And then they might see the truth that they might be people like them who wear a mask also. Oh no, I'm loving and nurturing and warm and just and fair. And I'm not prideful. I'm not egotistical. I'm not all about myself or materialistic. And eventually down the line, they'll see the truth that that person wasn't in a relationship with them because they love them. It was because of the ego and the image and the status or what they look like or what they wear or how much money they have. If that's what they lead with in the world, oh, you should get in a relationship with me because of these things. They're going to have people who want to get in a relationship with them because of those things. But it won't be because of love. And for some of those people, those relationships won't work either, because if those people aren't in a relationship with them for love, why are they in the relationship? Well, I had people who wanted me to grow up and mature myself, and I don't want to mature myself. Well, then they're in a relationship with someone who's very chaotic and unstable and unbalanced. Well, if they got the money and the status and the image, are they going to stay in it anyway? Is that more important? Do they now have someone who's being kind of bossy and controlling, manipulating them for their own selfish reasons? But they're unwilling to get out of it because of their lust for money or ego or image or social clout? Or the person they get in a relationship with isn't really about love anyway. And if there's someone who comes along, oh look, there's someone else. I think they have more fear and insecurity. I think they'll indulge me in my more bossy, controlling ways. You wanted me to grow up. Or, I think that person has more money, status, and power than you. You know, if you want a stable foundation, it has to be built on love. Otherwise, you're building a foundation on shifting sand. And that's what these people don't get. And they could think, I want to go get in a relationship with someone who doesn't want, is more motivated what I'm motivated by. Well, if it's not love, why are people in the relationship? And I think some of those people are going to go out to the edge because they have something they don't want to see the truth of. That either they're controlled by the world, money, materialism, lust, greed, or themselves. And if it's them being very shadowy, other people, what they don't see coming, will eventually see the truth of their foundation, because they might try to present themselves as not being that type of person. But then when they keep acting in ways that are like being an immature player, they get in relationships with people where they could work together with people in love to bring a dream into reality, and then they keep releasing that to go indulge in a new one, and then they give that person the impression, I'm willing to bring the dream into reality. They kind of indulge themselves as the devil in a relationship with loving people who think a dream's gonna come into reality, and they're like, oh no, I was just indulging in the relationship. Eventually they could have other people who don't want to be friends with them or hang out with them anymore, because it's like you just use people. It's just about you, shadowy Leo fire energy. You're all about just indulging yourself in a relationship. It'd be one thing if those people were truthful and honest when they got in a relationship, but some of these people aren't. Oh no. I am this victorious, stable, grounded person. My long-term goal, the long-term goal of a Knight of Pentacles, is to become a King of Pentacles. Oh no, we should get in a relationship and, eventually, it's like holding the carrot out there that will be in this long-term commitment. And it was just for them to indulge in it until people well, that's why I would say the advice is when you're in a relationship, be open and honest and authentic to thinking, oh, I don't want to deal with it, maybe later or whatever. No, I'd say the best advice is to speak up for yourself right away and get some people out of your life right away. I think you're kind of more about yourself. I think you're being kind of bossy. I think you're being kind of controlling. And it'll get those people out of your life sooner than later. Why spend one more day in a relationship with someone who isn't acting with character and integrity and seems to be more about themselves in some way, or acting immature or shadowy in some way? It's gonna probably fall apart sooner or later. And if we think, oh, but I want to indulge in it too, and maybe if I find someone else, I'll leave. Well, I don't know. The devil will figure out a way to try to keep you trapped in it. And it could just be the codependency or whatever. And you end up staying in something that's very unstable and ungrounded. So, because the high vibe people are being truthful and honest and authentic, when they see, it's trying to minimize the towers in their life, dealing with the cracks in the foundation. Are we on the same page? Let's communicate about it. Let's talk about it. And if we're not on the same page, at least when I have to let it go, it's not as much of a shock or a surprise. Doesn't mean unexpected things can't happen in your life, but I think the bigger tower moments happen when we're staying in denial of some truth. And we don't want to see the truth. That's when it's more of a blinded by and shocked that someone's acting a certain way, but it's all to try to wake us up to see the truth. So there you go, Leo energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.